everyone. So my name's Hannah and I am a psychology student. You are listening to the Let's Talk About It Wellbeing podcast. So in this podcast, we're going to be talking about loads of different topics that are going to be helpful for students, tips and tricks, wellbeing tips, things to do with mental health. Today, the topic will be on keeping well in the winter. And also just, loneliness around the festive season and how to sort of work through those emotions that come with it. And I also have a very special guest with me today. Do you mind introducing yourself?
First of all, thank you, Hannah, for your warm gesture.
No problem.
And a warm welcome. So, I'm Dr. Naveed. I am Education and Welfare Officer within Brunel for College of Health, Medicine and Life Science. I pursued clinical medicine and MSc in cognitive and clinical neuroscience in Brunel. So I do like to speak about how people feel, how people say, how people behave. And this is my keen interest to talk about. So I think today's topic would be pretty much interesting for me.
Okay, great. Well, I think the first thing that I wanted to sort of speak to you about, is I know that this is something that probably you've had more struggle with than I did because you were an international student, so you came from abroad. So just the topic of, starting over, it can be quite lonely. How was the experience for you and how did you feel when you first arrived here?
So, I was the latecomer, first thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I arrived, it was a pretty nice weather in London.
Yeah.
And I was pretty excited. Oh, I'm looking the whole city from the airplane.
Yeah.
It's pretty much everything good. And when I went to immigration, it took a long line and it was pretty tiring. And when I came out, it was raining.
Yeah.
I said, what is this? Because I was not prepared. So, if you're tired, if you're having jet lag and everything at one point and it's rain and you don't know where to go.
Yeah.
And there is none of your friends or you don't know where to go.
Yeah.
And you have to stay there and wait for any taxi and you're sorting out everything in the rain.
Yeah.
And the rain is not normal rain. It's a cold one.
Yeah. So
as in terms of winter season, I would say that it was pretty hard for me initially.
Yeah.
Because the time shift, because it's early sunsets.
Yeah.
So
It's a big difference. Yeah.
It's a big difference, and a jet lag that mixed up together.
Yeah.
So those all things were pretty hard for me.
Yeah.
At that time.
So what was it like adjusting to this new sort of lifestyle, and how did you sort of fit in, make yourself settle in a bit more?
So when I came here, when I just started, some of my mates, flatmates and classmates told me to have, umbrella always with you and two type of coats with you, so that you in London anything.
Yeah, it's unpredictable the weather.
Unpredictable. And also initially I used to stay sick, but your body cope up.
Yeah.
When you get used to it, it take 1-2 months. So yes, pretty much it because after 1-2 months I was pretty okay.
Yeah.
And I just adjusted, but initially it was pretty depressing for me, to be honest.
Okay, well, you came in September, right? So it was, I guess you started sort of your winter. That's when you sort of started. Would you say that it's quite lonely when you started? Would you say that it was quite difficult?
Yes, I would say. I think there are two reasons for that. One of the reason is in winter, people get lazy and don't want to go out from their room. They want to be staying in their room and feeling cozy.
Yeah.
So that's why it's hard to meet other people out. And as a new student, you would expect you would meet new people, you would make new friends because it's a new country.
Yeah.
And you want people to be around with you and support you in every manner. But in terms of winter, I think it's pretty hard because you can just meet them in class, and after class because outside the weather you can't stand, and you would try to find a shelter, and you would go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So in winter, I found myself too difficult to get with people.
Yeah, that's understandable.
With people. Yeah.
I think one of the things that really affects how we sort of communicate and socialize in the winter is the lack of sunlight. I think that's one of the reasons why like so many people like struggle with SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder, and then it's because there's the lack of sunlight, and then that leads into sort of, it's apparently, I think one of the theories was that it affects the hypothalamus, I think it was, and they said that it can affect your release of serotonin and stuff like that. So I think it can be really hard in this country when the day ends at 4:00. It's quite difficult. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, with the wintertime, I think something that I think all students can relate to is the fact that we're all probably going through exams, or we all have deadlines. And I think that can add on to the stress of already dealing with, that hibernating sort of thing that you want to do. And then also the day ending by the time you've woken up. And then on top of that, you've got exams. Do you think that, I mean, how did you deal with it? Because I know that you just finished giving in your dissertations. Congratulations, you're going to graduate tomorrow. How did you deal with balancing all of that at once, and especially around this time?
In terms of balancing, I would say that whatever I do, I find interest in that. If I don't have any interest to do that, my body won't respond properly on that. Even if I force myself to do it for once, I won't be able to do it. So whenever I want to do something, I want to finish something, I would find a reason to like do it, and I would find a reason of interest, like why should I do this, so that it would pop in my mind again and again and again, so it would be in my priority. So I think everyone have 24 hours, and I think everyone have pretty much many things to do at the same time. Yeah. But sometime, if you consider winter as well, we are more lazy. We want to sleep more. So this all things add up, and we think that we don't have much time to do stuff. But if you have priority in your brain, if you have things in your brain sorted, if you have that interest, I need to finish it as soon as possible, and then I need to make it more clearer, then that's how I manage myself. That's how I manage my time. That's how I did, because at the same time I was working as well. And when I was working and when I was doing the thing, it was pretty much exhausting for me. But if you are having like both priorities, and you can't say no to any one of them, then at certain point you would sleep less than the normal one.
I mean, I think that point about having the same 24 hours is a really good one, because I think one of the ways I adjust to the winter time is slightly altering my schedule. So I just make sure that I wake up slightly earlier, just so that I'm seeing more sun, so there's more sun exposure, and also I don't feel like the day has gotten away from me. Bear in mind, not really early, because I am not a morning person. I'm absolutely not, but I do try to change it a little bit according to the seasons, just because I feel like it'll help you sort of, like you said, prioritize the things you need to do, stay on track, make sure that you've got everything in order. So that's something.
But in that also you need dedication.
Discipline, dedication, motivation, all of them.
Yeah, true.
So I mean, I think one of the things that happens around this time, like you mentioned, is a lot of people don't go out, they tend to stay in. And that sort of leads to students not socializing, and then that leads to basically students being sort of isolated. What do you think is some ways that students can reduce the feeling of isolation, and also help to feel a bit more like they're part of the community in some sort of way? Do you have any tips?
There are, I would recommend like something what I used to do, and basically that helped me a lot. So I believe, as I mentioned about priorities, one of the priorities you should be having about your like health, I'm just not mentioning any health, but overall health.
Yeah.
And in overall health, mental health is one of the part.
Yeah.
So to maintain the mental health, even if there is the best therapist out there, he also need some support.
Yeah.
Right? Because we are human, we need every kind of support to, work properly. Sometimes we have to rant as well if you need to, right?
Yeah.
So in winter, I have seen that there are some people who just stay in their room all the time. They would prefer watching movie. They would prefer like being lazy and eating, and they won't be doing any sort of work. And there is one thing that if you are lazy, if like first day, I'm not feeling anything, you felt comfortable, first day, gone. Second day, you would have some feeling. If you don't have any priority pre-decided, then second day would be the same. And if you're continuing this for a week, your body goes in.
It becomes a habit. Yeah.
And that comfort zone lead you to whole like, oh, the term is done.
Yeah. No, I think
I've seen that. Yeah. I've seen that some of my friends did.
Yeah. I think I went through a phase like that as well. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's good to recognize it, I guess.
So there are some of my friends, they passed whole term, the winter term. And they, after the term end, they said, how many classes did we attend? Really? Because the classes usually are in morning times.
Yeah.
And because of they are sleeping whole day, they would wake up at night and sleep whole day again.
Yeah.
So for there is something I would recommend. What I used to do is, first thing, I explored many sports, because Brunel have many sports. And in winter seasons, there are some sports you can only do in winter season, like skiing. And I think those are the skills.
Yeah.
I think anyone must learn those, like to experience like campus life also, and experience life in general as well.
Yeah.
And those things allow me to meet other people as well of same interest. Because what I used to do, the things I know already, I won't be going in that. Because at certain point I would know, I know this skill, I would do it later. I used to expose myself to the things which I don't know. For example, I went to archery, I went to shooting, target shooting, then fencing.
Yeah.
Then there is calisthenics.
Yeah.
Those are the things I've never explored myself. But when I went there, I met the people, and they were like so welcoming. Oh, you're a beginner, no worries, we are here to teach you. And Brunel have that thing, why not to use it?
No, that's definitely true. I think people underestimate how helpful exercise, like physical activity, can be on your mental health. This is something that was relatively new to me, because when people used to tell me that, I was like, oh, they're just trying to tell me to lose weight. I used to get offended. But now I look at it and I'm like, I understand why people used to tell me that, because it really does help with your mental health. The peace that I feel after hiking is like no other. Like I find it so peaceful. And I know that it's winter, so it's a lot harder. But if you wrap up warm enough and you go out there and you just take in nature, it is beautiful. Like, it's the most beautiful thing ever.
Because, if you see hormonally, there are some hormones which are released at that point of time.
Yeah.
And it helps us to decrease their stress.
Yeah.
So there are some hormones like serotonin.
Yes.
So, it's kind of stress hormone if you ever have it. Then when you do some sort of activity, that serotonin level is balanced all over body. It's not the balancing of hormone is important as well, because if it is unbalanced,
and that's one of the reasons why you can have such poor mental health, is the imbalance of your hormones. So it's just really good to do the things that can help you sort of balance it back out. Well, I think you said, going into different things, like doing different activities. What do you think about, integrating into society with like stuff like volunteering or something like that? Because I know that helps me a lot, and I genuinely enjoy volunteering, but also, taking part in activities that aren't to do with exercise and physical activity. Do you recommend?
I do recommend, because as I said, that it's just not sports. Because there are some people who are not into sports really.
Yeah.
They're into, other cultural things.
Yeah.
There are co-curricular activities, and it's not like I just went to sports. I also went to co-curricular activities.
Yeah.
Like,
You've done everything.
Because I'd done everything, because I thought that I just have like probably 300 days.
Yeah.
So I always had a countdown on my desk.
Yeah.
Oh, I have 300 days, and I need to like make it at full.
300 days for
masters.
Okay.
So
That's a really good way to think of it.
Yeah.
Have
So
a countdown to appreciate
what
more.
can I do? Like, I used to think how my day is worth today. Every night, if the day is not worth, I would do 2 things next day, because to compensate the last day.
Yeah.
So that, that kept me going.
Yeah.
And that thing, helped me to like do more and more and more things.
Yeah.
And then what I didn't enjoy, I just used to leave them.
Yeah.
Then I was telling you about the co-curricular activities.
Yeah.
In co-curricular activities, our art center have many things to offer. I joined beginner guitar class.
Oh, wow.
When I came. They said that you're already so late. I said, no matter. I just want to enter.
Yeah.
Like, somehow I managed, because you have to chip in some fees.
Yeah.
For admission fees and stuff like that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
pretty much it's okay. And there are many other things like folks. That folks means there. If you know orchestra, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the people who sing together in.
Oh, like
in
a choir.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know that we did that.
There are some drummers. There are some.
It's instruments. Yeah.
Instrument artists.
Oh, wow.
So they come together and sing in synchronization, and you are
that's
part
so
of it.
lovely.
So even if you are there just to hear it,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, apart from the physical activity, I think one of the things about doing this, because I'm also a big advocate for trying new things, because I feel like when you do something new, there is a happiness that comes with it, that just experiencing new things is just so fun. Like, I've done things that I would have never done, and I do it because of that adrenaline, first of all, of me overcoming, like, for example, a certain obstacle that I thought I wouldn't be able to do it, and then doing it, and then feeling really good about doing it, and then also just relishing in all the new information that comes with that activity. And it just makes you, I feel like it just makes you wiser in life.
Yeah.
The more experiences you have, the more you're able to relate to people, the more you're able to understand things.
Yeah, also, one more positive thing about this is when you meet new people, you get a new perspective.
Yeah.
And you learn something.
Yeah.
Learning something is not always conscious.
Yeah.
Like, I want to learn this from this person. It's not always conscious. You see something good from someone, automatically your body accept it, and you start doing it. You start doing it, and you don't even know that you took that from that person.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. So we spoke about doing extracurricular activities. Have you ever done any volunteering or anything like that before?
Yes, one of the thing I remember, but it is not related to Brunel.
Yeah.
Especially in COVID times, I did volunteering.
Right.
It was pretty hard time.
Yeah.
Of course, for whole world, I would say that it was pretty hard time.
Yeah.
But that time, I did volunteering. Sometime I would say that to keep up yourself in every manner, these sort of activities help a lot.
Yeah.
Because everyone have different motive to do volunteering.
Yeah.
Right. Someone want to improve the CV. Someone want to do it for experience.
Yeah.
Someone want to just do it because they have time.
Yeah.
Right. But to keep up themselves in like healthy manner, these volunteering activities are also, because I think that whenever you do any sort of volunteering, wherever you do it, you are doing it without any incentives, without any motives.
I think that makes a big difference in
it
how
makes
it
a big
makes
difference.
you feel.
It make you feel more worth. Even yes, if you know the ground levels, it. So I believe that if the person know ground levels, then that person can go way beyond.
Yeah, no, because I know that around this time there is actually volunteering roles that are specifically to help people who feel lonely in the wintertime and around the festive season. It's something that I'm doing, and I think it can. You think you're helping people, but you're actually helping yourself more than you realize. I think it's a really good thing to do if it's volunteering or even working, just getting a job around this time. I think a lot of places are also hiring for temps, like staff for the winter time. Just sort of, integrating yourself into society is a big thing, and it can really help with your mental health. So what would you say would be some tips for you, like you would suggest to students to keep on top of their mental health in the winter time? So that's with exams and everything. What would be your top tip? Or tips, if you want.
Yeah, there are several tips I can give, but some of the top tips I would say, if you're considering within term time, I would say remove that ego inside you. Oh, why should I go and speak to someone? Because in this particular time, you know that you need people, and I think it's better to ask someone just for normal conversation. Just ask them, how are you? Hello, how are you? Because everyone like that. Because in winter time, if someone you ask, oh, this person doesn't look like. If you're asking them, are you okay? That person will instantly feel comfortable. Oh, there's someone. At least you are making someone feel that you belong. Yeah. Right. So if you are doing that thing, the other person would, understand it, and who knows, he or she might repeat the same thing to others. And that's how we build the whole chain and community together. And that's what I used to do. Yeah. Because anyone, if there is anyone, if just go and tell them, if you need anything, you can just rely on me.
I think
because
that's
there are some people who are so shy of talking, or so shy of speaking up. Oh, what should I do? And they know that they can't do everything alone. They want people to help them. Yeah. But they are so hesitating about asking for help and seek for help. Yeah. So it's better to, just go around. If you're going outside, just tell them hi, hello, because I think it would make you feel good and make them feel good as well. I'm not saying that every time you would get good answers, yes, but most of the time 99% of people would smile at you and reply you back, oh I'm good, hello, how are you?
I think, as something that I had to sort of realize in the past, I'd say a couple of years, is realizing that we are social creatures and we all do need to sometimes ask for help. And it doesn't mean you're weak if you ask for help. I think that was one of the things that, like you were saying, like put that ego aside. I was like, oh, I can do it by myself. I don't need anyone. No, sometimes you need a helping hand. And especially around this time when you can already feel quite far away from everyone. It's okay to just reach out sometimes and be like, hi, I'm not feeling so great, or you can even message a friend and be like, do you want to go out? Do you want to do something? Put yourself in that, take yourself out of that comfort zone, basically. But I think that's definitely something that I think can help. So you're a Students' Union officer. Yeah. So I think one of the things that can add on to the stress that students feel around this time is the ones who are sort of, I guess, left behind. So a lot of students go back home for Christmas and for the festive season. So there's a lot of students who still are on campus and they don't actually go home for that year or for that time. Do you think there's anything that they can do on campus to keep themselves busy, or is there anything that they could attend, or things that you would suggest that they can sort of get in touch with?
Yeah. So there are a couple of things Student Union organized. Yeah. There are some clubs and society, as we discussed earlier, some clubs and society which organize Christmas dinners, right? And some of them do have like some chip-in fees,
Right.
and some of them they don't have any chip-in fees.
Yeah.
For example, yesterday, if I talk about yesterday, we had a cake making competition sort of
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
And everyone made a Santa Claus cookie and cakes, and they were like designing it.
Yeah.
And it was free for everyone.
Oh, that's
And,
nice. Yeah.
We are planning to have a Christmas dinner on 25th in Meeting House.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
And how can they go to that? How can they attend if they wanted to?
Just join in.
just
so
show up.
just join in, because
Oh,
if they
that's
want to do
lovely.
it,
Yeah.
the timings usually are at lunch timings. So lunch, or it's pretty much open whole day, like till the Meeting House time is, I believe it's till 8 on 25th.
Right.
And you can just come and grab a cookie. There is piano, there are some games. Yes, one more thing, like I wanted to add that we do have Meeting House. Most of the students don't know about it.
Yeah.
So Meeting House is very, very good place to go.
Yeah, it definitely
And
is.
you just, there's pretty much like many games over there. Like every game you can imagine, they have.
Yeah, they
If
do.
there's piano, if someone know how to play piano.
Yeah. Or wants to learn. Yeah.
So my friend knew how to like play piano.
Right.
I used to go. I know how to sing, so
Oh,
I used
wow.
to sing,
Okay.
and he used to play piano. So many times we just pop in and we would go.
Oh, that's lovely.
And everyone would gather around. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's quite a lot of resources on campus that I think a lot of students don't actually know about that we have.
Yeah.
One was the Meeting House, like you mentioned. That's the thing. I feel like, as a student, this is coming from like a student themselves. Yeah, like we're paying a certain amount for fees, and we always say like, oh, it's a lot. There's a lot that also that the campus gives you and the university gives you that we don't take advantage of. Like we have the Meeting House. We have a wellbeing center as well, which is basically the students' wellbeing, which is where we're actually filming this right now. And that's where you can basically get one-to-one counseling if you need it. You can speak to mental health advisors. And then there's also these whole other range of things that are available for students throughout the term and throughout the winter time as well. I know a lot of students are doing exams now. There's like Ask, the academic skills team. They're there to help you with anything that you need to help with in terms of writing your actual essays and exams and stuff like that. So I feel like, that's something that a lot of students don't know about is how
And
many things are
also,
available.
there are chaplains.
Yes, that's another
in
thing.
Meeting House.
Yeah. So there's like there's a Muslim chaplain, there's a Christian chaplain, that they're all available for you to just speak to in the Meeting House. If you feel like that's something that might help you if you're struggling with your mental health, maybe you don't want to perhaps talk to a friend, maybe you don't even want to speak to a counselor.
Union have advice services.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's so many that we can list like thousands of them. All of this stuff is available for students to sort of take advantage of, and I think it definitely should.
True.
Definitely do that. I think another thing that is probably helpful is something that I feel like was good was so this is something I did with a mental health clinic, and I was working then. They were talking about doing a winter wellness toolkit plan, and essentially what it is you basically just it's about sort of recognizing what affects you around this time and knowing your triggers and what can help you overcome those feelings when it does come to you, when you do feel uncomfortable about certain things. So, I mean, it sounds a bit cheesy, but try it. It does work. If you get a piece of paper, write down what affects you around this time, what your triggers are, and how you can sort of, what are your safe things, I guess you could call them, that makes you feel comfortable again. So I know that some people were writing like listening to certain music, or some people were writing like, self-care things. So like having a hot chocolate, reading a book, that was like their way of sort of coping with things. So I think something like that is definitely really helpful. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to that, or?
Yeah, there are things like what you just said. Everyone have different approach to do those things.
Yeah.
Because most of them about the writing on paper is like the one of the most common things.
Yeah, it
because
is,
in therapy as well, I suggest this to people.
Oh yeah, do you want to just mention that you've also done?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I did I mention it?
I don't think so. But if you didn't, you can just repeat it again,
Okay,
just so it
fine.
makes.
So like I am a therapist as well, like cognitive behavioral therapist.
Yeah.
So it's called CBT, and whenever I say CBT, most of the non-psychological people, oh, what is CBT?
Yeah.
So yes, I done my PG diploma certificate in CBT,
Right.
and I have been doing this therapy since last 2 years,
Right. Yeah.
and I do it voluntarily. I
Oh,
don't,
wow.
yeah, I don't charge people.
That's amazing.
But,
Yeah.
Yes, and just having hand-on experience.
Yeah.
Yes, so I suggest a lot of things, what they can do, what they cannot do, and especially most of the people who are students, they are struggling with this time management and stuff like that. And I suggest, as you said, like writing on paper and stuff like that.
So is there any general advice you'd like to give in terms of dealing with mental health declining around this time?
So yes, first thing I would tell about the issues students usually face. So one of the thing is scheduling their time.
Yeah.
They are like always running out of their time.
Yeah.
So they don't know how to manage their time. Another thing they are struggling with coping up with the workload they have.
Yeah. That's
And also at the same time they have to manage some maybe jobs,
Yeah.
maybe some other responsibilities, right? And I think overall keeping the balance between like life, like personal life and this studying life, academic life, to manage that, they have to split the time in particular manner. So one of the thing I would suggest that if you are a book reader, I would suggest this first clarify your goal, and how you can clarify a goal. There is one book named Ikigai. I'm not sure if you all are aware about.
I haven't heard of that before, no.
Ikigai is one of the most famous book. So it's based on a formula how you can decide what's your goal. And if you're not into like reading books, then you can just look at quick summary on YouTube.
Yeah.
Of
Or an
Ikigai.
audiobook or something
Yeah,
like
or
that. Yeah.
audiobook. And that would help you to figure out what's your priorities and what's your goal. And after that, later what you can do is set your priorities in the manner you are think that it is the most important thing, like the priority of importance, and this is the most important, and mix them like it should not be, oh, this is academic, this is personal. So what comes first, and how much time, and write after a week that how much time you spend on each of them after a week. So then you would know that, oh, this 80% of time of my whole week goes to this place, but not here. So if you're for example, you have written 10 priorities, and out of 10 priorities you are spending your 80%, 70% of your time on eighth number, eighth priority, and first is getting maybe 2%.
Yeah.
Then of course you would feel like this
You're running behind. Yeah.
But if you're giving your more time towards your priority, so you would feel like, oh, this, I'm working on it and I'm getting it, and you would feel more satisfied. And one more issue with us, all of us, it's not just students, all of us, is we have long and bigger goals, but I would recommend to make it in chunks and reward ourselves. There are many things we want to do. Like, for example, what I do is, if I want to watch movie, I would do something which I don't like. So I would start assignment which I don't like.
Yeah.
But if I write maybe 2,000 words, then I would play a game.
2,000 words. That's a lot of work for a game.
So,
but it works.
but it works.
Yeah.
your brain is like a kid, and you're
Yeah.
just, if you want a chocolate,
Yeah.
you need to, go there and bring a cup of water for me. And the kids go and bring a cup of water for you
Yeah.
and give you, here's
You're
a
basically
chocolate.
like sort of conditioning yourself.
Yeah. So
I'm a big believer in classical conditioning and just doing everything based off of that. So yeah, I should definitely try something like this.
So, if you're keeping in chunks, because if you show that, you have to go this far, then I don't think that would work.
Yeah.
Right? So just give small rewards. And after achieving the actual goal, give yourself a big reward. Maybe go on a trip.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really important point, is to remember to reward yourself for the hard work that you put in. Then it makes it that little bit more fun and a little bit more enjoyable. So yeah, that's a really good point. And I should definitely try something like that because I haven't done that before. Yeah, I think there's a lot of resources out there that people can sort of use. But I think, something that I do want to mention is I think we all know that people's mental health tends to decline in the wintertime. But I think it's important to also understand how bad your mental health is getting. If you feel like it is getting quite bad and you know that it's not to a, I guess you could say, normal extent that other people sort of have, I think it's good to reach out for help. Maybe it's something that you need to discuss with your GP. There is something called, like I mentioned before, seasonal affective disorder. If that's something that you feel like you might be dealing with, where you do feel like your mental health sort of declines around the wintertime. It can happen in the summer, but it tends to happen a lot more with people in the wintertime. I think that's really important to definitely, reach out for help. What would you suggest is ways that they can get help for that if they feel like it's something that's a bit more than just feeling a bit down around this time and it may be...
So there are many services on campus.
Yeah.
So first and foremost thing they can do is, first, if it is an odd times, it's non-working times, then call security, right? And call security and tell about the situation. Security would tell you.
As in if the mental health is really bad, yeah.
And if they're not feeling, they would come to you and they would take you to the proper place where they should be.
They redirect you to the appropriate thing. Yeah, they do.
And,
They're really helpful.
If it is in working hours, they can go to wellbeing center, which is situated in student center.
Yeah.
They can come here, which is
Student
near
wellbeing.
Brunel medical school. Not
medical
school,
center.
medical
Yeah.
center.
Yeah.
And they can also come to Union. They can contact us or advice service. They would tell you. And also, if they don't want to go anywhere, just go outside and seek for help.
Yeah. I think that's the hardest step, is that first step. But I promise you, it does get better after that. That first step of actually asking for help, it can seem so daunting. But I promise you, once you go past that, it does get better.
Yes. And I would also like to suggest the people, if someone come to you, because, there are some people who do go and talk to their friends, but their concerns are not addressed properly.
Yeah.
And that's where they got more triggers.
Yeah.
And so I would say that the people who are coming to you and speaking that they're not keeping up well with their mental health, they are not feeling all right. Maybe they're feeling anxious, and everyone have different, experience. And the most common answer people give is, "Oh, it's okay. It happens. They
mean well, but it doesn't really do anything." Yeah.
This is not the actual, addressing the concern.
Yes.
You need to elicit properly. So to elicit, I would say that whatever the person is saying, just try to agree and be with them. If they're saying that is unable to focus properly, then say, I understand. This is the time that you can't focus. Because when you are with them, you share the half of their pain.
Yeah.
And when you share the half of their pain, they feel instantly relieved, at least 50%. And for next 50%, you can seek out the help of wellbeing center.
Yeah, it's really helpful. It's something that I've used in the past as well. And they can be... they can really be that helping hand that you need when you're struggling. I think something else that you if someone's struggling with their mental health, is if you feel like it's affecting your studies, I think it's good to maybe even let your personal tutor know that, you're not able to do certain exams. Because I know that this, unfortunately, the winter time is also a lot of where, like I said, the exams are happening. So trying to communicate that to your personal tutor, just in case you feel like it's that bad where you won't be able to submit something. Maybe see if you can get ECs, which is extenuating circumstances. That can definitely help, especially when you're feeling down, to sort of get that extra time. But again, that's something you need to sort of bring up with your personal tutor and with student wellbeing to see if you can get a support profile in place as well.
Yeah. So for ECs and things, like just before, like 2 days, I got a student came up to us and said that I'm not keeping up well. I'm just struggling, and started crying in front of us, and because like that student was not understanding all of the things. And one more thing, that student tried to seek help from everywhere, but didn't find any. Then we directed to the wellbeing center, and the wellbeing center helped from every places.
So I think, the Students' Union, I think that's what you're alluding to, is that the Students' Union can also help sort of, take you to the right people if you need that support. They're there for you. I know that Naveed's very kind and welcoming. So if you do need help, you can go to him for anything to do with that. And I think, as in just in terms of like wrapping up, I think, this is like if you're a student and you feel like you are struggling with this, also know that I think we should mention, like, the charities that are out there, like Samaritans and Mind. All of these can also be a listening ear when you need it. Because like you said before, I think sometimes you just need to rant and just sort of talk things through. And sometimes Samaritans can be there for you if that's what you need. So I think that's pretty much it. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. It was definitely very interesting for me. I hope you enjoyed your time here as well. If you do want to keep up with us and you want to see other episodes, it's called Let's Talk About It Brunel, and we're on Spotify, on Instagram. Give us a follow. Naveed, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was like pleasure talking to you as well, and it was really fun. And yes, follow us.
Follow the Students' Union as well.
Yes, follow Students' Union as well. And whatever you need, just pop in, and we are here to help, and we will sort things out for you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yay.